Okay, hello. This is my Project 3 demo video. As you can see, we're already in my Project 3 directory. So the directory contains two helper files, isdir.c, isdir.h, a make file, a readme file, and the main file, which is an sfind file, and then a test1 directory that does not have access permissions. So first, I'm going to take you through the readme file. There we go. So name of program, name of helper files at the top, and then a description, which is just a find program with the substring search and the type command parameters. And then the coder is me, Eshaan Agrawal, credit, logic from lab 7 source code to come up with the is directory function, and then how to compile, um, which is the GCC or just make using the make file, and then how to run, which is basically just a usage. And I did use the -s command. So now let's go through the sfind code. So really quickly. So included some stuff, some libraries, define some error arguments, global variables. Now get arguments just gets arguments using opt-args. Pretty simple to pretty similar to project 2. Yeah, and then yeah, gets args, edits global variables based on arguments, and then checks if the directory entered is in fact a directory, and exits if it's not, because that's crucial. And then the search dir, which is kind of the bulk of the code, is so this method is used to recursively search directories, and it inputs just the directory name. And then I kind of define some variables, so a couple of structs, and this int n, which I'll get to in a second. So first I change directories to the directory name, and if check for errors, and then use write instead of printf. I use write. And I write to standard error, which is file descriptor 2. And then I open directory, and I open the current directory since we already changed to that directory. And then I scan the directory and put the directory info into the my file variable, which is darent struct. And then and again check for errors, and then I put the amount, and I put the output of scan direct dir into n, which is the amount of files in that directory. And then if all those errors, if there are no errors there, I define some more variables that I need for the while loop. Yeah, so some flags, some buffers, and then I get the current working directory and put it in the current working directory buffer right here. And then I go into the while loop and I iterate through a counter n times, or I iterate through it n times, which is the amount of files in the directory. So I assign file name using the counter, and then I lstat for that file. And if there's an error, I use write to standard error. And then I check for the type using lstat and st_mode in lstat. And then yeah, and then once I have, if the type is correct, I edit the type flag. And I also, if it's a directory, I edit the dir flag to 1, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, then I have an if statement that basically just uses write to standard output if the directory meets the command conditions. So the name is a substring of the name, or the substring name given is in the substring, and the type matches. Yeah, and then I write to standard output. And then here, if the directory flag was turned 1, meaning the file is a directory, then I recursively call search dir for that file name. So recursively search directories, that's how it works. And then after that, I just reinitialize some of my variables to 0, increment the counter, and then that's the end of the while loop. And then at the end of the while loop, I just garbage collector and close the directory, and return success if it makes it there. And then for the main, I have I just call get arguments and then search directory, and then it searches the directory, and search directory returns 0 on success and an error number on failure, which is defined at the top of my program. I'm not going to go through isdir. Actually, I can. So I'm just going to go through isdir.c, which is just the is directory function. Again, just checking if it's a directory, and if it's not, write to standard output. or write to standard error, sorry, and I would return 0. Yeah, and this is, again, source Dr. Hibnete and her Lab 7 source code. I cited it right at the top. So now let's go through some test cases, and I'm just going to do the test cases provided from the SurveyMonkey first. So this is sfind with name, substring name AF, and type regular file. And as you can see, it gives just that, which is what I put in the SurveyMonkey, and gives some permission denieds. Then we have so now we're searching the T1 directory, subdirectory in Professor's 1730 directory for type file, and there's 3. There you go, and you see the outputs. And then again for links in the 1730 directory, and we get 4 of these. So it works for links. So file. Oh, I think we skipped this one. This one just searches for directories within T1, which is a bunch. Directory links, we search for links. Now name, substring, and links. Oh, sorry. I forgot the / there. There we go. So that's what it should look like. And then I think this is the last one. Yeah, so this is just searching for file type P, which is which are 3 of, and then I want to do, and then I'm going to just do 2 greps. So this one's just grep for search dir, which was in the group me, and then I'm also going to grep for print f, which there should be none of. Yeah, and also real path none, because I do use get CWD. Yeah, so I use get CWD. Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this demo. I can do a couple more. So I can just do, if you give nothing, then it assumes the current directory and it prints out the current directory, which is the same as -s dot. Again, test 1 just has no permission, so permission denied is expected behavior. Again, I can do name make, and it gives you the make files. I can do type directory, and this should give us nothing. Exactly, this is just standard error, but it gives us nothing. And if I just do type directories in my local directory, it gives us the 2 directories. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. That is my project.